Right. I'm wondering where... Oh, it's right here. Hello. All right, so... Start off relatively easy here. So today we're working on a miniature that is nearly 20 years old. Haven't done all the basing for it, but I have these new 3D printed basing elements, so I have some twigs and this old dead tree behind her to kind of balance out the overall composition of the mini. I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so that's gonna be the same color. All right, I see. I see how the outfit works now. Now I haven't finished applying like sand or anything to the base, so that'll get done at some point. But this is the same stuff I was talking about with like the cactus and desert succulents and stuff that I would use for the orcs. I think it's really well done. Really good looking stuff. Except, of course, these little supports hanging down there. There we go. I thought I got all of them off. I just literally didn't notice those two. I did sand the stuff down, though. But I can do it more if I need to. But for Fantasy Fridays, right, I was kind of thinking, I was like, so... Because I have lots of fantasy games I can paint, but that's like Thursday's stuff, right? So what am I supposed to work on? And then I remember, oh right, I've got a ton of Confrontation miniatures. And who doesn't love a good Rackham sculpt? Alright, and then let's go ahead and base coat the all the wood here. So I'm just going to take Auburn Shadow and mix it in with the same purple that I just made. I want everything to kind of have the same dark tone, and then we'll do maybe something drastic to contrast it all. I also have mushrooms I could have printed, but I did not. I mean, we can add stuff to this base. We probably will. Maybe that'll be part of this project, right? Is like taking the base as far as we can in terms of like adding cool little things. I do need to thin this down a little bit though. I'm impressed I'm able to color match that so well. Okay. That is a good thing. Hope y'all have had a good week out there. Yesterday I didn't stream because I was updating the shop. I added an insane amount of new miniatures, so if you are a patron, this month we switched over to the Patreon store being, or well, the 3D miniature store being for patrons only as an added benefit to being on Patreon. And we added a bunch of stuff. We have our first sci-fi bundle coming next month, so that'll be all the miniature Monday minis and the Patreon classes. So that'll be cool. It is corporate warfare is the theme versus cyberpunk criminals. So some really good miniatures from Papsicles. And I've had a lot of their stuff for a long time, but their vendor license is pretty expensive. It's $50 a month. So, you know, I didn't want to just do it unless we were, you know, with the subscriptions that I have now for the bundles and all of that, like I can make a little bit more sense out of that. So, but yeah, that's the most I've ever, that is the most expensive license I've dealt with. So hopefully people enjoy it. And if people don't, goodbye. We will never do it again. Alright, so we got that base color down on most of the tree here. Okay. If I don't end up liking her on a rounded base, we might put her on a little plinth or something, and I would just literally cut the base to reattach. Alright, so that purple's drying, the wood is drying. Now I want the staff to be like a black obsidian, and the same with her horns there. So we'll go ahead and do a thin coat. Mostly just to kind of prep that surface. But I'm thinking a bluish green reflection should look pretty good. Alright, we'll get the big horns here on the head. And we'll do gold for the armor. Yeah, as a kid, I always remembered this miniature looked really cool to me when I would see it at the shop. At Game-Wise in Plano, Texas, they were like the only people that carried Rackham products. And then I think I only played Confrontation once. I don't remember. It was like they played during the week, so it wasn't when I was normally at the shop, right? It was kind of like a weekend afternoon thing with my friends and I. And I think I went once and sort of got a demo game in and then never went back because I didn't know the guys, right? Like, just a different crowd was playing the game, so. But I always loved the stuff to this day. I mean, obviously, I was able to recollect a nice little assortment. Now the real question is, all these little extra details on the face are like around, you know, what color is that supposed to be? I don't know. Either way, why don't we just have fun working on the little staff there. So, to keep it relatively simple, I'm just gonna we'll just do gray, and then we'll tint that, so. Yeah, I'm not sure what color to do the interior portion of the helmet there. I know it needs to be something else. What if it was like, let's see. What if it was just a like redder tone of purple? And that way we can do the trim in gold, and it should look really nice. Oh man, this is complicated to figure out what I'm looking at here. Okay. What about the sides? So that's... We'll just go ahead and paint all of that in to make sure we've got coverage there. And then the back that is obscured by our tree. It's okay though. Got a cool little face back there too. Oh, I did miss some purple right there. Okay. Is it almost dry? It's almost dry. I will force that. Good to see you here. Good morning. Damn, 3 viewers? God, this is just so brutal. I literally, it's kind of, I don't know what to do. I mean, I think, I literally don't know what to do. Like, no one gets these stream notifications anymore because, like, the analytics tell me that no one's seeing it. Like, a stream used to get a reach of maybe 900 to 1,000 people, and now it'll say like 100. This is just, I don't know, God, every day it puts me in such a bad mood to come on here and just realize that it's all over. Not to be a downer, but it's literally just freaking me out that being sick like that just completely stopped the algorithm from showing my people my streams. In any post, like none of my posts even like go out to people that can see them. It's just, God, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life here. Alright, so I'm just kind of going in the darker area here since we're going to try and make this more obsidian-y. It's on the screen. Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't... I could care less. I mean, cool, yeah, I didn't die, but like, what's the point if my business is literally fucked because I was sick for 2 months? So. But yeah, like, I literally don't know what to do to get the post reach to increase. Like, there's nothing you can do. You can't boost a live post, you can't do anything, so. Don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, so, you know the post that, where I was like, hey, you know, what streaming times work, what do you guys want to see, whatever? I literally paid, so I promoted that post to people that follow this page on Facebook, and it was going to have a $15 budget, and it was supposed, like, that would have, got, you know, whatever, I don't know, it was supposed to reach, you know, a couple thousand people, right? And over the course of 3 days, it had only reached, like, maybe 50 people, and no one even replied. So, like, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I mean, give up? That sounds really good. All I'm doing is ruining my health trying to fix this shit. Okay, so we'll do this one instead of the horns first. I mean, I might end up airbrushing the horns because they're going to need to be so subtle. So we'll just play around with the little staff here first. So actually I have a darker color I'm glazing back with here. I may need to redo the reflection on this end here, so I'm going to actually redarken that right here. I'm just going to rebuild that structure. Here, we'll just do this in there. Okay, so we'll just fix that little area first. Maybe this should be a lot brighter right here. And that's what I taper into, right? Yeah, I think that's what we're gonna have to do. Oh, hey Mark. Sorry. I didn't see. I don't even know if you're still watching. Sorry, man. So I'm just blocking in where I need my brightest spots, which will be like right there. And then after I do this, we'll just glaze it and then build on top with color because I don't feel like fighting this. Nope, not bright enough. Let's try again. Snuck in like a ninja, a frozen ninja. Wow. brighter. Okay, so I like that pattern a little bit more. I feel like this is still too broad, but we'll see. Maybe if I kind of do a little bit of this action. Okay, so let's glaze that and see what comes of it. Do I have to paint the bag? We'll do the fakest little highlight here. What the hell was that? Did you guys see that? Did you just notice that? No? Okay. I don't know what just fell, or from where, but like a piece of just like paint gunk just kind of flew off. No idea what that was. Okay, that does look pretty good though. All right, let's start trying to make it look nice here. Oh, nope. Let me plug my phone in. My phone's been dead all day. That's how I'm living my life right now. I'm like, oh, phone call from a bill collector? Bye. Can't notice the calls if my phone's turned off. That's how that works, right? You can just ignore it. I mean, technically you can ignore debt even after you get served papers, right? That's how the game's played, but for now, I'm just ignoring phone calls. All right, so let's make a little glaze here. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I do like the plant bits, though. I think they help frame the scene pretty well. I tried to keep them pretty balanced. So what you kind of have, you know, art theory, right? Oh my god, I can't talk. Art theory-wise, you have the golden ratio here, right? You can see it kind of circles back in like a 6 in terms of composition. Yeah, this is just phthalo green. No idea what I'm going to do for that color on the rest of the staff there, but we will let it do its thing. You know, we can apply the phthalo green up here already as well. We may as well. Like Fibonacci, kind of. Mentioning Fibonacci triggers me because when I was taking computer science, in high school, before I moved to good old bumfuck Oklahoma, I was learning C#, and I was in 10th grade at the time. And, the teacher, I'd already taken Computer Science 1, and we learned, like, C and barrel, like, it was the worst. But he didn't have any, like, requirements for that class. But Computer Science 2, it was suggested that you had taken calculus or trig, and, like, I'm really bad at math, right? So I hadn't taken either. But since he had me as a student before, he was like, I think you'll be able to handle it, it'll be okay. And like one of the very first assignments was creating a program that would display like the Fibonacci sequence depending on like what numbers you put into it. And that was, I failed multiple times until I finally figured it out. Like I failed the assignment, but it was one of those things where it's like he would give you a failing grade, but you had to just keep trying. And then once you got it right, he would change the grade. So if you failed that class, it was because, well, you either didn't get help or you just didn't do the work, right? But I just remember that being like so difficult. That was just like a concept that I could not get my head around at age whatever, 14, 15. Okay, so we're gonna do a trick here. So we're gonna use clear purple. Oh yeah, you're thinking of the pattern. Oh right, yeah. You mean like the pattern you see when you're on acid? Not really, because like the golden ratio. If you just Google it, it'll make sense. But in concept, it's sort of similar. So I'm going to use purple here as our go back and shade color. So we'll do this relatively gently. And because this is going to act as a shade, anything I do is going to be really pronounced. So I have to be pretty careful here as we build that back in. Yeah, the golden ratio is very intriguing. Like, some of the best designs, most famous pieces of art, whether or not it was intentional, it literally ends up following the golden ratio. And once you know what it is, you will actually notice it in real life in different things. So it's really interesting how it works. So I know I said, we were gonna do obsidian on this, but we're just doing whatever this turns out being. I'm not gonna stress. If it looks cool, it looks cool. But I figured the sculpt was kind of Halloween-y, kind of spooky. We'll go back and very much so glaze over these god-awful brushstroke reflections I put in here. Can I just glaze over all of it like shadow? Is that cheating? Here, I need to thin that down big time. Gotta go back to work. Thank you, Mark, for popping in. Like jade, yeah, okay, well, you say that. We can, if we want to go more in that direction. So you know how we're doing like purple in these shadows? Well, if you want it to look like jade, or at least that kind of shimmer, what you would do is we would go back, highlight again, and then bridging from the deep purple back into the green, you do blue. And if you get it to jump from purple to blue to green like that, you'll end up having like a really jade looking effect. But phthalo green already is really good for that. All right, let me check my phone here because I do have texts. Nothing. All right. As long as it's not an emergency text from somebody, it's all good. Even though if it was, like, I mean, my parents have Sydney's info, so if it was like one of them, they would just be like, hey. That's usually inevitably what gets me to turn my phone back on. Because if I'm like, you know, my parents might be trying to message me. Alright, we're gonna let that dry for 2 shakes. Oh my god, now my phone's really going off. So now that we have that, we can go back in and build with the actual green. And really have fun. Where are we? Right here, okay. All right. Well, you've done your homework for the day. You now have free study the rest of class. There you go. And yes, you can use your headphones. That's my. Hooray! Can you paint now? Yeah, just don't make a mess. It's my my teacher vibe. Free study, aka get on your phones. Oh, dude, it was so funny. Okay, so speaking of teacher vibes, all right. So these little podunk towns are like reviewing their state testing scores here in Oklahoma, and look at the back. Oh my god, the back is so bad, guys. We'll work on it. But let's work on the front before the back. I mean, look at phonedin.com over here. Oh my god. But anyway, so these they released the scores, right? And they're like, oh no, our little rednecks are only 39% efficient in English at their reading level, right? Or like, oh no, they're 29% efficient in math at their grade level compared to the national average, right? So it's like really embarrassing numbers. And they're like, but, you know, this is to be expected with all of the online learning, da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, right. I mean, everyone across the board has taken a hit from online learning. But they're completely blaming that and not the fact that last year, or the last time they had a full year of in-person classes, that these little rednecks, right, in like Deer Creek and all these little towns around Oklahoma were literally only scoring like 41% literacy, right? And then they're like, oh, we dropped 10%, this is unacceptable, like we can't have mandates. And like, dude, you guys literally, and Oklahoma regularly ranks like second in the nation for like worst education. So it's just, oh my god, it's just so good. But I liked how they tried to blame that, right? It's just so good. So good. But yeah, that was the biggest, speaking of taking computer science, right, when I lived in Texas, like, because I grew up in Texas, in Allen, which was really huge. It had the largest high school in the country. And what was interesting was, like, you know, I was in AP classes, IB classes, I was in the Gifted and Talented program, all that stuff. And I was taking computer science, and then I moved to Oklahoma, and they don't even offer a class equivalent. Like, so I moved up here, and they're like, oh, like, we can't even help you. Like, we don't even know how to give you credit for this stuff. And then they made a huge fuss saying that my senior year, I would not be allowed to graduate unless I took one more PE class and Oklahoma history. even though I had a 4.7 GPA, which they didn't even like calculate in the state of Oklahoma. Okay. But they're like, you know what? You're not allowed. We're gonna literally try and ruin your life unless you take PE in Oklahoma history. I was like, dude, and I literally caused such a fuss that I got them to sign me out of one more PE because I was taking 2 more AP classes in its place. And then I took Oklahoma history in a summer school class with a bunch of people that had failed it like 8 times in a row. And they were like, why are you here? Like, so the summer school teacher was like, why are you here? Because, you know, she could tell there was a difference between me and everybody else. And I was like, oh, I just moved here and they threatened to not allow me to graduate next year if I didn't take this class. So literally I would just like answer the dumbest things. Like, you wrote down vocabulary and then you answered questions in the back of the book for every chapter. And I did that the first week, and it was I think it was 3 weeks. So I did that in the first week, and then I just got to sit and do nothing in the class and like talk to her for the rest of the summer school period. But it's things like that, right? Where you punish someone who's clearly above average when it comes to like GPA and everything when they move from another state, and you're like, no, we're gonna punish you and literally not let you graduate unless you take our dumb classes. Or PE. I think that's what made me the most upset, was that they're like, nah, you don't get a diploma unless you take PE. Like, really? Because I was doing collegiate level reading by the time I was in 4th grade, and you're telling me I gotta go play dodgeball or I can't graduate? Okay. That's fine. I can see why you're the assistant principal, but and the high school I went to didn't even offer, like here in Oklahoma, they didn't offer IB classes. And so they're like, well, we don't know what to give you in terms of credit for your IB classes because we don't offer IB classes. And I'm like, okay, that's a what? Like, they're harder than AP, so what do I get for that? And then the college I went to here in Oklahoma didn't even give me correct credit. Like I essentially should have been a junior my freshman year, but they were like, oh, sorry, it's our policy. We can only give you 1 credit hour, or like 1 class worth of credit for AP. And I'm like, well, I literally took like 3 AP tests that all qualify for English. And they're like, yeah, so we're just gonna let you out of 1 class. If it had been in Texas, I would have been a junior my freshman year. But no, you know, this is Bigfoot country. But I always laugh whenever people always say that like Texas is the most conservative state in America, because they clearly have not dealt with anything in Oklahoma. And I mean, and we had to pay so much money. My family didn't have a lot of money at the time. And I mean, not that they have had a lot of money, right? But AP classes, or the AP tests, are not cheap. And I took a lot of them. So it was like hundreds of dollars just thrown away because they didn't want to give you credit. And then what was funny too is they kept saying like, they're like, oh, if you're going to go to an Oklahoma college, you need to take the SAT, not the ACT. Because I had already taken the ACT in Texas and scored really high. And they were like, even if you score really high, you know, colleges in Oklahoma will prefer students that took the SAT instead. Not true. I got in literally the first try without even like. But it's just so funny how backwards like everything was here. So the ACT is just literally a different test. Same idea. Same idea. And most schools look at, like, they'll take either score, depending on where you come from. I honestly just think it's like it's just a business type of thing, right? Like, some states got hit by those ACT lobbyists before the SAT ones, you know what I mean? And so that's just kind of what they rock with instead. Spooky glowing weapon. Oh, it does look pretty bright from far away. There we go. I just love the shape of it. I mean, that's the thing. Like, Rackham literally was so just... everything about their design, their aesthetic, their all the decisions they made, other than the decisions they made with their business, right? To like, with the games, I should say. The art direction and everything was just so good. Man, if you're not friends with me on Facebook proper, so Sydney bought me a really nice teacup as a gift, and where to embed Chimera palette. Well, Chimera paints definitely are really hard to work with, and they're not what you would typically use. And Scale 75 is literally a Nazi-obsessed, terrible company, so you shouldn't give them any money. That's my my 2 cents with them. But yeah, Amazon shipped a teacup yesterday in a padded envelope. Look at that. Thanks, guys. Really, really well done. Look at this. Because that's how you ship ceramics, right? But yeah, I have Chimera color, and they don't act like normal paint, so. And yeah, Scale 75's weird obsession with making Nazis cute definitely should not be rewarded in any way. They've gotten in trouble for it far too many times. So. Alright, so let's go brighter here. But I like how you asked that question and not what paints I'm using, because I don't use either. Okay. So now I'm just going for our bright edges first, and then we'll highlight a little bit further. pretty good. But, I mean, this is easy. I saw good old Sean from Brush for Hire was working on some Rackham stuff too the other day. He was doing some dry brushing on his though. I actually have the exact model he painted. I don't know. I feel like with Rackham stuff, and this is nowhere directed at Sean, by the way, so I just thought of that and thought of this, right? But Rackham literally had the most intense and highest quality box art out there for their miniatures, like period. Like nothing else came close. And I feel like that also contributed to kind of making the line sort of off-putting. At least in America, it was huge in Europe, right? And it was a French game and company. But because, right, the box art for their miniatures was so high level and like didn't even look approachable, I think that it just was too off-putting for a lot of the US audience. Because yeah, even to this day, you know, you can go back and look at some of their paint jobs and it's just amazing stuff. There's your answer. Here's your answer. These are all brand new. There's your answer. Can you tell which brush I recommend? Series 10, by the way. Some people will suggest 35. I don't think 35 is that good. Man, I actually have a huge collection of Mage Knight. From way back in the day. I actually got accused of stealing Mage Knight from a hobby store when I was a kid. Because I played Mage Knight with like all the people that played it, and the store owner called my parents and was like, does he have a bunch of Mage Knight that you guys didn't pay for? And they're like, no. What the fuck are you talking about, dude? But yeah, it was actually a different kid, and he caught the guy. But yeah, he would just like steal booster packs. Yeah, you'd be amazed to know the value of Mage Knight stuff nowadays. And it's not because people want it, it's because, the hard to find and like limited run Mage Knight releases or tournament only stuff, whatever, I mean, they sell for hundreds of dollars, like all the time, to this day. But it's only because collectors want it, like no one's actually out there playing the game. Yeah, I mean, I've been painting since I was like 8, right? But many years in my teens, I did nothing. High school, no painting. College, no painting, right? So. Yeah, pretty much I had a huge break until I was like 23, 24. And then I got back into it. Man, I really love the way this is turning out. and then now for some pure white. I think now, just because of the level of skill that I'm at with painting and the speed at which I can do it and the 3D printers and everything, like, you know, even if I have to give up on everything and just like do whatever, pretty sure I would always still paint, just because I can, you know, I can do something that I really enjoy in terms of like a paint job on a miniature or something I think is cool in a fast enough amount of time, get a good result, right? Like, I just think now I'm at a place where, and the amount of stuff I have to paint available, I don't necessarily have a reason to stop, you know what I'm saying? Maybe if I didn't have time, but I would, even if I have an hour, I can knock out something that looks good, you know what I mean? So that's why I feel like I'm just kind of at a place now, based on skill, where I can always enjoy it, even if I don't have days and days and days. Which is a luxury, I know. There are plenty of people that love painting and can't do it because it takes a long time. So, no problem, Rado. Yeah, I think getting faster, like, once you get basics down, getting faster, I feel like, is the next priority, and then you can focus on quality. Because as long as you have basics, and you can get your basics to be fast, then you can invest in different tricks, right, to get things to look cool, or like whatever skill you want, right, non-metallic metal, wet blending, like whatever it is that you would want to do next, right? You can kind of just move on and do. But speed, basics, things like that always pay off. Now, the reason I had to redo that edge is because it's flatter. The actual like miniature casting doesn't have a sharp edge there, so I need to physically paint this edge on and not use the side of my brush. So everyone hold on to your butts. Okay, I mean, it looks like it did before, whatever. Whatever. But I'm at an hour, so that's all I am going to do on her today. But hey, that looks sick. Absolutely killer. Definitely excited to keep doing this. Now the horns are going to be the same color, the two big horns on the side of her head. Then we're going to probably have some kind of scarlet red with gold, non-metallic metal on all the other trim, purple dress, and then we will do the mushrooms and everything on the trees. We do need to finish the back of the staff, but not today. So thanks so much for hanging out. Tomorrow we've got Patreon. We have our scholar class. We're going to be working on a cool flower wood knight looking guy. And Sunday we're going to continue working on this awesome bust right here. We're going to finish up the non-metallic metal on the other side of the lion and probably move into something else. And then that's it. We'll have Miniature Monday, move on, have fun, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for hanging out. I hope you have an awesome weekend. If I don't see you on Patreon, anything else like that, make sure if you are on Patreon, do please check out the store. The store has been updated. There is an insane amount of new stuff on there. And that is it. Have a good rest of your evening. Yada, yada, yada. Adios. Arrivederci.